Hey, what's going on guys? StarGuy34 back with another video. In today's video we are going to see what if Central America formed an empire in 2024. If you want to enjoy the video, please like, share and subscribe, and let's dive right into it. So immediately you can notice that Mexico and the Caribbean are not part of this new empire. That is just because these are, when you think of Central America, these are the countries you think of, as you think of these countries as the Caribbean and Mexico as well. Mexico, as it can be part of this union, but I think that's a bit too big to start off with. It's different for like USA or Russia because they're already formed countries, but that is a bit too big for my liking, so they will be independent for this video. Central America is not the biggest country, nor is it the richest. However, they will be buffed in this video. I've already said that as well, so let's just get into the first war. And the first war they'll be doing is a war against Jamaica. Why? Because it is literally the weakest country in their vicinity. They land on the island and capture the capital of Georgetown? Kingston? I can't remember the capital of Jamaica. They are fully annexed into the Central American Empire. Next, we have them declare war on Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And as they land on Haiti and move towards the Dominican Republic, we have something else happening. We actually have Venezuela join in on their own side. This is due to them wanting to stop the Central American countries from taking what little influence they have in the region. So Venezuela lands in the south of the Dominican Republic and move up and capture half the country. Following this, they move across the entire country, as both of the invaders share the territory between them. And now it's time to look at a peace treaty. So in the peace treaty, Haiti and little bit of the Dominican Republic is annexed by the Central American Empire, and Venezuela kind of puppets to the remainder of the Dominican Republic. But yeah, they're a puppet of Venezuela now. So where does Central America go next? Well, they could go after Cuba, but I think they're a little busy. So instead of invading Cuba, they go ahead and invade another country. The only country that they can invade being Colombia. Now, Colombia is a very strong country compared to them, so they will have to try to use they'll use what advantages they can, as they use the advantage of them having no advantage, as they push in to the country to try to gain as much territory as they can before Colombia mobilizes. And they do quite well as they push up north to capture a majority of the coastline, and they move towards the capital. I don't know where the capital is. Let me just check where the capital is. Okay, so it's around central-ish. Okay. And they move into the main country in order to try to capture the capital. However, now that Colombia is mobilized, they are ready for the counterattack. They move in from the north to try and push back the Central American forces, or should I call it just the CA? Yeah, I think I'll just call it the CAE. The CAE, yeah. As well as from the south in order to try to cut them off entirely from their main force. In doing so, this allows the Central American Empire to pull back over here from taking the capital in order to reinforce their front line, which they do so successfully, however at the disadvantage of being pushed back by Colombia. Following this, we do have another country join in on this war, and of course, who else but Venezuela? Venezuela is very anti-Central American Empire for some reason, so they move in from the north in order to try and capture as much territory as they can, as well as through the central area, as they know that a lot of the troops are not there. Following this, we do see a mass pushback of Colombian troops by this country's forces, as they are pretty much on the run, with them fighting on two sides. And from here, we kind of see the fall of Colombia against Venezuela and the CAE, but we do see some comeback, as Colombia is stronger than Venezuela, especially here, so they make a small pushback to trying to limit the amount of territory that they lose, and they completely kick out Venezuela from their country, and even make a campaign into it. All that is about all that they'll make. Quickly, their capital of Boycata is captured, and from here, the country pretty much falls apart, as large chunks of it fall to the invading army. However, Venezuela cannot push in further in the north, so they agreed to a peace with, they signed an armistice with Colombia, And Colombia invites the CAE to this, and they agree to join in this peace treaty. Time to look at said peace treaty. Now, initially looking at this really isn't too bad for Colombia, as they didn't really lose too much land in comparison to what the CAE captured. But if you really look at it, they kind of lost all of their coastline, which is very damaging to their economy. So they are looking to unite with either Brazil or Ecuador in order to get to that coastline. So looking at this peace treaty, the western coastline goes to the CAE, and the northern coastline goes to Venezuela. And following this, Venezuela is very scared. You know, they are not crazy enough to go against Mexico, and they're probably going to invade Ecuador soon. And then who's next? Them. So Venezuela takes the initiative for once and goes ahead and forms an alliance. We see that called the Anti-CAE League. And Cuba joins this, as well as the Dominican Republic, and strangely enough, Mexico. And one more country is applying to join this new alliance. Now, of course, is Ecuador, but the CAE just goes ahead and declares war on them. So as they move into Ecuador, another country decides to join in for the third time in this video, which is Colombia, but the CAE just goes ahead and cuts them off, so they won't even be able to invade without declaring war on the CAE. So focusing on the coastline, they quickly capture Ecuador's capital, and they move in to capture the south, and from here, Ecuador pretty much gives up and surrenders over to the CAE. Time to look at this peace treaty. So, looking at this peace treaty, we can see Ecuador is completely annexed. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, now where do they go? Well, they can go to Peru, but Peru doesn't really want to get invaded by them. And also, they're kind of overreaching at this point. They've gone really down south, and they've got a very tight corridor right here. So, they go ahead and ignore Peru. Especially after they unite with Bolivia. So now they really only have one choice if they want to expand. Go to war with the other team. But even with all this all the territory they have acquired, they probably won't be able to defeat them. So they enlist the help of a country. And that country will be revealed shortly. However, who would start this war? Now, the CAE doesn't really want to expand anymore because they can't really, as Mexico would realistically be the only option, as they share a very small border with Venezuela. But how would this war start? Well, remember the Dominican Republic? Well, they kind of mistaken their troops kind of entered their old territory over here in eastern Haiti, as they still thought it was theirs. So that kind of did this. And it led to the CAE officially declaring war on the Yellow Team. And so following this, we have numerous defeats against the CAE. We do see a slight campaign into Mexico, but the Mexicans managed to hold a front line. Apart from here in the Yucatan Peninsula, where they are quickly forced into surrender, apart from a small detachment up north. Following this, it really does not go well for the CAE, as Haiti is quickly captured by Cuba and the Dominican Republic, as well as Jamaica, and we see Venezuela quickly move into the core territory as they move into Panama. From here, we do see the fall of the Yucatan Peninsula, but we see Mexican troops from the south move in, recapturing much of their territory, and even enter into this little panhandle and move in and cut off the Yucatan Peninsula, trapping a bunch of troops, which they swiftly fall from a landing from Cuba and a swift invasion into their own country by Mexico. And now the CAE is now under threat. We see Mexico full force into the north, quickly capturing a lot of the Belize and Nicaragua and moving into Honduras, as well as Venezuela cutting off Panama from itself and moving into the Colombian held territory. And it really looks like the CAE is going to lose this war even when they're bluffed. But now it's time to activate their trump card. We see two countries join in on the war again on their side. And these countries are Colombia and Brazil. No, I'm just kidding, not Brazil, because they are a bit too OP to have this. Yeah, they're a bit too OP. However, Guyana is not. These two countries agreed to help in order to gain territory of Venezuela. And of course, Colombia regaining their territory. And this is with the hope They still don't think they'll be able to take on Mexico and the Caribbean countries, but they think that if they take out Venezuela and manage to hold a stalemate against Mexico, they will be able to negotiate peace. And with this, we start to see what Venezuela did to Colombia. As they unexpectedly push into Venezuela, cutting them off from this lake, and swiftly capturing a lot of this territory, trapping all of these troops in the CAE. With this, we see Guyana pushing slightly to Venezuela, but this is very slightly, as they once again are not a strong country. With this new development, we see the reorganization of troops, as the CAE managed to push in and reunite with their certain territories and begin to push back Venezuelan troops. From here, they launched an offensive against Mexico, as they managed to push them back quite heavily. However, they are stopped, as it is now a stalemate. From here, Venezuela is kicked out of the CAE, and the troops in western Venezuela fall, which coincidentally is a majority of Venezuela's army. So Venezuela is left pretty much defenseless as they steamroll through the western countryside, and Colombia full forces into their country. Venezuela, however, manages to launch a pushback against Guyana, quickly pushing them back completely, and launching a new campaign into the country in order to try to claim the land that they claim. And Guyana once more is not a strong country, so they fall pretty swiftly. From here, we see Venezuela, with the wasted resources in Guyana, fall completely over to the red team. With this new development, we do see Mexico continue to be pushed back. And then from here, the Caribbean nations decide that they will no longer participate in this war and begin to negotiate with the CAE. With the agreement of leaving the war, they can keep their captured territories. So in this mini peace treaty, we can see that Cuba annexes Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic is no longer a vassal of Venezuela, and they annex Haiti, fall apart for Venezuela, as they are pretty much completely wiped out and forced into capitulation, as well as the recapture of Guyana. And from here, Mexico is fully pushed out, and with the combined force of Colombia and the CAE, they are completely destroyed, as the Yucatan Peninsula is once again captured, and Mexico was put onto the defensive. And from here, Mexico decides that it's no longer worth fighting, so they leave the war and decide to negotiate a peace. And it's time to look at said peace treaty. So in this final peace treaty, we can see that the Yucatan Peninsula is now under the control of the CAE, as well as them annexing a small area of Venezuela, which is technically some of Colombia. And we also see Colombia annex all of northern Venezuela, as well as some of their south, and Guyana annexes eastern Venezuela. And Venezuela is just now this giant square. And that is actually going to do it for this video, and this is the borders of this new empire. Time to look at the states. So to do with states, there's not really a lot of them, as they did not really invade that many countries. We have the Yucatan state, the Central American Republic itself, as well as this Colombian state and the Ecuador state. And that will do it for this video. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'm sorry about the lack of uploads in the recent months, but going back to one video a week, hopefully. But yeah, on every Sunday at probably 12, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.